Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, what we're going to do is basically do kind of a version of duping out the new Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay. It's a super really pretty palette, and I don't know, I kind of have wanted to try doing something like this before, something similar to this, basically duping out from singles. If I haven't mentioned before on my YouTube channel, I am not buying any new eyeshadows until next year is kind of my goal. We'll kind of see, obviously, as I'm trying to use more and more of my makeup up. I might even push a little bit longer. I don't fully know, but I kind of really want this to be part of my thing. But anyways, okay, let's get on started with the video. Alright, so the singles that I'm going to be pulling from this time around, I'm going to be using some singles from Sugar Pill. I'm going to be playing around with the CXC. This was a limited edition Loud and Proud palette. Oh, sorry about that. The CXC Beauty Into the Night palette. Next, I do have all four of the Norvina palettes. These are all separated. If you did see my video, I did make these into magnetic palettes. But basically, I have all of these sorted into here. I also do have several Jeffree Star palettes, like the larger ones, Blood Sugar, Blue Blood, the purple one, I don't know. A lot of them, I will be pulling from them. If I do kind of remember, I will try to put it in, like what actually each shade and all of that is, from what palette and all that stuff, so that way you know if you are curious. But anyways, okay, let's get on started with the video. I'm going to be starting off with the first shade from the palette, which is Snow, which they describe as a light nude matte. So, I'm going to start off with this Adept palette that I have. What do you call it? Basically all of these. This is like my nudie side, and this is like the lighter kind of matte side. What I'm thinking, so the videos that I saw, not videos, but the photos that I saw showed this as kind of a, it was between like a light creamy, almost white looking, and then also a slightly darker color. So what I'm actually going to do is pull something that's kind of similar to what I would want for my skin tone, as this is my own little creation. So I'm thinking, oh, this is difficult. This is a pure white, so maybe not that. So let's pull from Bloodlust, Jeffree Star, the first shade. I don't remember what it's called. We're going to pull that as our first shade. Just going to put that into my palette. Alright, so the next shade that we're going to be pulling is the shade Sky, which is saying it is a sky blue matte. So I have my blue eyeshadows here. I'm thinking of taking this one, which is from Jeffree Star. I really do hope I don't just pick all Jeffree Star. But this is from the Blue Blood palette, shade number 8. Okay, so our next shade up is going to be the shade Ray, which is described as a green-yellow duochrome. Now, unfortunately, in my collection, I do not have anything at all that's even remotely similar to this shade. And unfortunately as well, total color blind problems. I'm looking at this shade, and it does not even look green to me. But I did watch somebody else's video, and they said it looked green, and so I'm just gonna believe them, because, yeah, I'm colorblind. But anyways, mainly, it looks just like a super shimmery shade to me, is what I would more say. A very pretty kind of glittery shade. So, one of my actual absolutely favorite shades is from the Norvina 4 collection, the pink palette-y one, the first shade. So yeah, that is what we're going to use for the shade Ray. Alrighty, next we are pulling for the shade Twilight, which is described as a dark matte blue. So, we have our lovely blues. I have a lot of different varieties here. Like, obviously, I have like a super dark blue here. I don't fully know. I'm trying to think. Because this one is nice, but this has some glitter in it. I think because I do like this dark blue, we're going to pull for this. So this is from the Blue Blood palette. I believe it's the last shade in the palette. Alrighty, so next up we have the shade Ocean, which is described as a ocean blue shimmer. So, let's pull again from the exact same eyeshadow palette. I'm leaning toward the shade right here. Is super pretty. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but I think it's actually pretty. Oh, that like does nothing. You can see in the pan. I think that's good. We're gonna pull that. Oh yeah. Okay. So next up we have the shade Forest, described as a green matte. So we have all of our greens here. I'm trying to think of the picture I'm looking at looks, it's kind of a darker green, but I don't know. I'm thinking it almost looks slightly muted, so I'm thinking of this green, which is from the Norvina 3. It's the shade B2. I don't know, though. It almost looks like it has... You know what? I think we're going to pull a Jeffree Star shade. This is from the Alien. It's the 9th shade. Yeah, let's pull that. Alright, so next up we have the shade Breeze, which is described as a mint green shimmer. Now, looking at my collection of my greens, I definitely, unfortunately, don't have anything there. I'm looking in kind of my bluey greens. Now, I know these are kind of mixed up, but I do have this. It's a pressed glitter, which I'm not super in love with, but it's probably the closest, again, that I feel like I have. That kind of has that sparkly, I feel like it has some blue in there, probably more silver, but I think that's gonna work. Alrighty, so next up is the shade Mint, so I think we're just gonna go for, again, into this same palette. Now, I know their green looks a bit more minty green. I don't, like, it's hard to describe. I would say there's maybe a bit more yellow or something, where this one that I'm looking at is probably on the hair of more blue, but I feel like I have to add this. This is just the, again, I don't have anything similar to theirs, but this is probably the mintiest shade that I have. So this is from Blue Blood shade 2, which was, I know, definitely a very minty shade from that palette. Next up we have the shade Moss, which is described as a forest green shimmer. So looking at these, the only really one jumping out to me is this one right here. I don't know if it's actually a really pretty shade, because I don't know if I would say this one is giving me the same vibes. I feel like this one definitely has like a blingierness, so I think we're gonna pick that. So this is from the Norvina 3 palette, shade C5. Alrighty, so next up we have the shade Ivy, described as a dark green matte. So back into our greens, I think I'm just gonna pick this shade. I'm pretty sure this is a green. This is from the Alien palette. I know it had a lot of greens in that palette. And this is shade 13 from that palette. Alright, back in with our greens. This is like green overload now. We have the shade Lime, described as a lime green shimmer. So, I'm going to grab it from our greens. You literally can't even see it, but it is a slight shimmer. Because I feel like theirs almost looks kind of gold. But I don't think I have any goldy greens. Let's look in our yellow, just in case. Like, I'm pretty sure. No, it's not. Yeah, I'm gonna say. That's the only one that I have that I can think of that's even remotely close, which is the shade Lime. I would think of this as a lime green shimmer, so we will put that on us. Next up is the shade Leaf, which is described as a light khaki green matte. So nobody come for me. or feel free to come for me, but my brain sees kind of a more like mustardy kind of color. Like, I'm hearing it's green, but like my brain's like, no. And these as well could be green, for all I freaking know. So I'm thinking of taking this shade, which is from Alien as well, shade number 8, which is kind of a mustardy shade. I feel like theirs is almost a bit darker. I don't know. Ooh. Because I also have this one. Ooh. Dipping my nail into this. Are these just like literally the same? I like this one better. We're just gonna go with this one from the Alien palette. Alright, and this is where this could go downhill. Haha, yes. So the shade I'm looking for is Eucalyptus, described as a khaki green matte. I literally have nothing in my singles that is even remotely close to that, so I'm just gonna pick a kind of mid-tone green to me. So this is from the AVH, or Norvina 3, the shade E1, for the shade Eucalyptus. Next up shade is Marigold, described as a mustard yellow matte. So to me, it almost looks like a yellow with some like orange in it. So yeah, so this is my like yellows that I have. I'm thinking, I feel like I just see a lot of yellow in here, and not a lot of like yellow orange. Should I just like grab a yellow and call it a day? Like, I feel like I have, like, I keep feeling like I have from other palette shades that will work perfectly, but just, like, not for this. So annoying. I want these more orange. These are literally both, like, so yellow, at least to me. Screw it. I don't know. Should we just go for a yellow? Or should we go for, like, this? This is, like, a peach yellow. You know what, we're just gonna, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go, mustard to me is yellow. Yellow. Done. Okay, so the next shade that we have is the shade Fossil, described as a copper shimmer. So I'm gonna pull from this exact same palette. I'm thinking of this shade right there. Again, it looks copper to me. It is super pretty, and I think it swatches really beautiful. So we are going to pick that shade and place it in our palette. So next shade is the shade Poppy, described as a red matte. So I am pulling from, again, Norvina's 3, shade C2. I think this is a really beautiful red. It's looking like it pulls a little bit more corally, but I don't know. I like it a lot. I think it's going to work out just great for us, so yeah. So the shade after that is the shade, it's called Raw, which is described as a deep red matte. So I am thinking of pulling from Norvina 1, shade D3. You know what? This looks way too pink. It's so difficult finding shades that are, like, good. Like, I feel like I'm either between this red and this one, which they're, like, really similar looking. This one's a little more, like, leaning terracotta. In person, it's a bit darker. You know what? I like it. I'm gonna do this one instead. So for Raw, we're doing Norvina 1, shade C5. Alright, so next we have the shade Heat, which is described as a red-orange shimmer. So I don't have anything super similar to that in my collection. I went ahead and just went with the closest thing I could find, which is kind of a metallic-y shade. It is from the Blood Sugar palette, shade number 16. It's kind of this slightly red, metallic-y kind of thing. We are at Earth, which is described as an earth brown matte. So let's go to our mattes. It almost looks to me, or brown, sorry. It, to me, looks a bit like a warm brown. So I'm thinking, is it this one? I'm thinking, oh, Lord have mercy. I'm thinking either that one or this one. These are probably, like, really similar. So this is from Norvina 4, shade D5. Or I have an ABH Rilgar shade. Let's do a quick little swatch of these two. I feel like they're, like, so similar. One thing that really kind of made me mad with the ABH palettes is, they swatch differently. I think I like this. We'll go for, I already forget which one's which. But anyways, the ABH palettes, or whatever, they, like the Norvina ones, there's a lot of overlap in my head. We're gonna go for the Norvina 4, shade D5. Alright, and rounding us off with our last shade, yes! It's the shade Sunrise, which is an orange matte, so we're gonna get our oranges and reds again. And I'm thinking of, like, a really good orange. I like this one a lot. This is the shade, from the, oh my gosh, Norvina 3, shade A2. I actually think that's really pretty. Do I? I feel like in the picture theirs looks like a bit more like red orange. Picking colors is so hard. Which is better? Oh, jeez. This one or this one? You know what? Let's go for this one. I like that one a little bit more. Okay. So this is from the Norvina 3, shade A5. Alrighty guys, so we are at the end of this lovely video. So this is the palette that I came up with. I know it's not super identical. Hopefully if I'm cool, I just realized this is totally going to be opposite of the image. So hopefully, if I'm cool, I can figure out a way to do their image opposite or whatever. But I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know. I think I match the vibes pretty decently. I don't know. I actually really do like it. So I'm super excited for this fun little palette that I did create. Let me know what you think in the description. In the comments below. Let me know if you like this type of video, if you think I should do it again. Honestly, I think I probably will. I think it's kind of fun, and I think it's definitely a really great way to talk yourself out of, at times, buying stuff, or even just if you're on a goal to not buy stuff. But anyways, go ahead and leave me a like, comment, and possibly subscribe if you would like to. Obviously, subscribe. I would love to have you on my next video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Okay, bye!